Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sonia, also known as SG from Let the Ladies Speak podcast, where we have healthy discussions about life, love, dating, and relationships while promoting self-love and healing. Here on my YouTube channel, sometimes I do analysis of reality shows, and tonight I'm going to do the dynamic of Johnny and Bao from Married at First Sight. I know you guys don't like Johnny. Now, I don't dislike Johnny, but I want to be clear that we're talking about behavior and dynamic and not the people. And I don't dislike anyone, and I don't want to tear anyone down. That's not what me or my channel is about. So I just want to be clear there. But I do want to talk about their dynamic because I have some theories. But first and foremost, I want to thank you for coming to my channel. I appreciate you for stopping by. If you are returning, thank you so much for returning to my channel. And if you are new, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate you guys for the love and support. Please thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Comment below if you see fit. So let's get into the dynamics of Johnny and Bao. This is another couple that I feel was not matched properly. Because for one, their love language. Let's start there. Their love language is two completely different languages. And the reason why love languages are so important is because that's how your person feels loved, right? I receive love this way. And if a person is not able to meet that other person's love language, that person won't feel loved. For example, Johnny's love language is physical touch, up to obsession. Bao's is at words affirmation, I believe. She didn't really clearly say, but based on how she responded to Zach's compliments, I'm thinking words of affirmation are hers. And just her saying to Johnny, I just want you to appreciate what I've done. You've never confirm or say that I did anything right, So I really think words of affirmation is hers. Okay, so he didn't affirm her and she didn't show him physical affection. Now, I know people are going to say, well, they had sex. Sex doesn't equal intimacy though. And Johnny had a view of romanticism. Like he romanticized his interactions with sex. That's the kind of sex he wanted. And he wanted to be touched and he wanted to be held. And, people gave him a hard time about that. And I didn't think that was fair because, he admitted, I wasn't hugged as a child. There's a reason why this man has pillow forks around him, right? He likes to feel touched. That is his love language, One of the 5 love languages is physical touch. So I don't see why there's an issue with him wanting his wife to touch him. Because like he said, everything that she's doing, she's like, I'm baking, I'm cooking, and although we found out all that wasn't true to the way that she was saying it, those aren't the things that make him feel loved. Time makes him feel loved, and being touched makes him feel loved. Like I said, he wants the romance of intimacy, sexual intimacy. He wants to build up. He wants the flirting. He wants to feel like he's with a woman, like a very confident woman when it comes down to sex. And I really hate that they were saying that he didn't like her giddiness or her happiness. Johnny wasn't saying he didn't like her being happy. He didn't want that childlike giddiness is the problem, which, if we are all honest with ourselves, if you don't like children, and I hope you don't in that way, you don't want to feel like you're with a child. You want to feel like you're with a grown individual. Ladies, do you want a man like, oh, baby, do, when you're about to get intimate? No, you want him to say, come here. You know what I mean? You want him to own the moment, So that was his. And at the same time, Bao needed words of affirmation. And Johnny didn't affirm her. He didn't compliment her. He just didn't affirm her. He didn't acknowledge what she did do, which was problematic. So then she doesn't feel love. So the first issue was they had opposite love languages, and that was a huge problem. Now, Johnny had his red flags at the beginning, and people are like, well, because he said he wasn't attracted to her. I think he was physically attracted to her. He admitted to that. But once he got to know her, he wasn't attracted to who she was as a person, because there was some dishonesty there. Dishonesty breeds a lack of trust. And if I don't trust you, I'm not attracted to you, right? Who can be attracted to someone that they're not trusting, right? And I'm talking about to a person, a person's personality, like the core of who they are. So let's talk about their red flags, okay? Or where the concerns are. We'll just say where the concerns were for both of them. We have both of them are control freaks, right? Both of them are big on being in control. I think Johnny came in with the view that I am going to let them do their thing, right? I'm going to trust the experts and let them do what they need to do. I believe Bao came in with that as well, but I think Bao was a little more guarded in the sense that she wasn't ready to reveal herself so much, right? She was a little more guarded, which Mirla is similar to that too. Like, I got to warm up to everybody. I think Bao, though, and she admitted at the reunion, wants to be perceived a certain way, which whether you like Johnny or not, that's what Johnny said. That was where his concerns came in. She wanted to be perceived a certain way that she wasn't. She wasn't who we thought she was. And I think, let me just say this. I feel like they had an agreement, which they talked about. They confirmed this on the reunion. But even before the reunion, this is what I saw. That there was an agreement to be a united front. And when Bao would get upset, she would throw him under the bus, right? And then he would act out. And no one can hear what he was saying, right, wrong, or indifferent, because of how he was acting. So it's so very important to know how to control your emotions and communicate clearly so that people can hear you, hear what you're saying, and comprehend what you're saying. If you are unhinged or appear unhinged, if you're yelling and very animated, people can't hear you. We saw that with Zach and Michaela. Like, some people were able to pick on the dynamics between those two, but it was really hard to do for others because Michaela was so animated. So her family said she was hot-headed. She said she was hot-headed. And like, I don't know why no one's talking about the fact that she said she was burning her dolls. Like, that's not normal. I watch a lot of ID investigations, and I do a lot of studying on psychology and forensic psychology, and burning of items is kind of alarming. So, I mean, it takes a little bit more to come up with a conclusion, but that is something to be alarmed about. So, and the fact that she had been engaged 3 times, why couldn't she go through with it? No one questioned that, but everyone talked about Johnny. So let's get to Johnny, because Johnny been on 100 million first dates. So either he's looking for something in particular or he doesn't know what he wants, right? So Johnny went on a lot of dates. Johnny doesn't manage his emotions well. We saw that with his father. When his father didn't come, that was the first time it was shown that he couldn't manage his emotions well. And he doesn't communicate well. My biggest issue with Johnny was that although he had a right to his feelings, right? There's a time and a way to say everything. And you have to be mindful about your intentions behind what you're saying. And at times, I do believe his intentions were to hurt Bao. And that was unnecessary, right? I think it was made worse by the fact that anytime he tried to express himself and just say, I'm not happy and I don't want this, everyone, including Bao, was just making it seem like he was crazy and he needs to keep trying and he's not ready for marriage. You know what I mean? But the fact of the matter is, if that's how he felt, that should have been a separation, right? Because you don't want to force someone or try to stay with someone that tells you that they don't want you. Once a person says they don't like you and they don't want you, that's it. If I was Bao, I wouldn't have tried to be intimate with him after he said, I don't want you. But she says, I'm right here. But I think that comes from a place of she felt like things get bad before they get better, right? But that's not how a healthy relationship is structured. Yes, you will have bad times. Yes, things may go, through different phases and growing pains, but someone's telling you they don't want you. Someone's telling you they're not attracted to you. And yes, I know people said, well, he slept with her. He was physically attracted to her. His issue was being attracted to her personality. I think he felt betrayed by her. And I think there were some, I mean, he was being honest when he said she's not true to who she is, you know? And whether we like that about Johnny or not, that is his truth. And it turned, whatever happened turned him off. He didn't like her childlike behavior. People are saying he didn't want her to be happy. That's not what he said. What he said is, I don't like her childlike behavior. I don't like her being giddy when he's trying to be intimate, which when you're trying to be intimate, do you want your person to show childlike behavior is the question I will pose to people. I definitely feel like there were times where he didn't have to deliver his messages like he did. He did them in a very mean and a vindictive manner. But I also have always said, I believe Wow is exactly who Johnny says she is. So he's not aware of who he is, and he could not communicate clearly. Had Johnny been able to communicate his concerns in a proper manner, in a healthier manner, I think they would have been addressed differently. But I also do believe that Bao made a pact with her husband and she didn't keep the pact, but he decided to try to keep it, and it was just escalating the situation. If you look at the dynamic from the dinner, right? He's sitting there comfort, like, yeah, we're a united front. They probably talked about it like they said they did on a reunion, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to show up and we're going to say nice things about each other and call it a day. Bao decides to tell people that she does all these things for him and she's trying, but her husband doesn't appreciate it, and now she has to romance her husband, and she's used to being courted. But she said when he did the picnic that no one had never done anything like that for her before, you know? So you're not really out here being romanced like that, Miss Bao. You know what I mean? Miss Bao was dishonest quite a few times. She was dishonest quite a few times, and no one really called her out on her dishonesty, you know? I think one reviewer did, but for the most part, she wasn't being called out on her behavior, which honestly made Johnny act out more, because he's like, listen, she doesn't shower like I want her to shower. And people were trying to side with her. I'm like, y'all know good and well you don't want somebody getting in your bed after being out at the gym in the middle of a pandemic, bringing home other people's sweat and germs. Like, come on, y'all. Sometimes you just have to call a thing and not side with a person. You know what I mean? And that's why I keep it at behavior versus the people, because you don't want to get caught up in that. Also, I think, so between the dishonesty and then the back and forth on the honeymoon, I think that's what another thing that kind of bothered Johnny. That's why he put his pillow fork back, because he had the pillow fork and then forked. And he was ready to take it down. So I think there was a couple things on the honeymoon that turned Johnny off. The shower issue was one of them, because he just said, I prefer that you take a shower before bed. Johnny never said she had to shower 3 times a day. He just said, I prefer you take a shower before bed. She started talking about not taking showers for weeks, which is a sign of depression, and wanting to come to bed dirty from the gym. And he's like, I just prefer you take the shower before bed. Then he compromised and said, okay, well, get into bed. Because he wanted to sleep with her initially. Like, you know, he wanted to take his pillows away and everything. Then he said, well, just change the sheets in the morning. And she was like, no, I just want to sleep on the couch. Like, for me, what is this double? Why are you doubling down on not wanting to shower, but you want to have sex 3 times a day? You know, I will ponder that question, you know. And then originally he wanted to like get to know her for her, and he was like, it's fine that you snore, it makes you human. He teased her. She said, I don't like it. He said, okay, I won't do it again. And she said, yeah, because if you do it again, you have to sleep in the next room. Which again, his love language is physical touch. Like, he wants to be next to you. So she pushed him away. Then there's times that she would kiss him, or they would kiss, and she would like kind of push him away. When he bought the little outfit for her from the gift shop, and the tag was on it, she looked at him and she's like, well, that's disappointing, and I'm sure that gave him a flashback of her reaction from the gift that he bought her for their wedding, because the brother was like, yeah, don't do that again. Don't tick her off. So I just think there was that. And I think, after the whole shower and pushing him away and her not being affectionate, his guard went back up. So her guard was up initially because, this is new. This is my husband, and these are the ways I protect myself. And it's going to be okay, because remember, she kept talking about how her parents had a really bad, tumultuous relationship, and then it blossomed. I think she thought that we're going to have these hard times now and we're going to blossom. But I think she was creating them. I do think her snoring was significant. Like, she had a crush on Johnny and she didn't want him talking about her snoring. It's just that she always wanted him to protect her, but she didn't protect him. And I think that was a big issue between them. I did not like that Johnny filmed her snoring. I didn't like that at all. Now, she already told you that this is a problem for her. Why would you do that and put that on camera? You know what I mean? I found that to be disrespectful, Johnny. So now that we got that out the way, there's a thing called reactive abuse. And this comes from the International Voice of Domestic Violence.org. Okay, reactive abuse occurs when the victim reacts to the abuse they are experiencing. The victim may scream, toss insults, or even lash out physically at the abuser. The abuser then retaliates by telling the victim that they are in fact the abuser. The abusers are conditioning and manipulating us to accept blame. The longer the blame shifting goes on, the longer the belief that we are to blame for the reactive abuse. So basically, it's like gaslighting. The person feels like maybe it's them and it's just them. And this happens a lot with individuals with abandonment issues. And abandonment issues include settling in unsatisfactory relationships, needing to control or be controlled by your partner, having difficulty in feeling intimate emotionally, trouble trusting your partner's intention, and giving too much too soon, or being overly eager to please. And I think we saw a little bit of that with both of them. So let's talk about the causes of abandonment issues. Abandonment issues can come from childhood or adult trauma. They can also be developed after losing a intimate partner by divorce or death of a loved one. Either through adult and or childhood abandonment, these issues can negatively impact relationships. So both of them, I believe, have abandonment issues because Johnny's father left and because Bao's father really wasn't emotionally present. So for me, I think they had like just a reactive relationship. I don't think it was necessarily Bao's intention to abuse Johnny. I think she just wanted to manipulate the narrative because she needs to be in control of the situation. And like I said earlier, sometimes people just need to be in control because that creates a safe space for them. I also feel like Johnny reacted to that because we had an agreement and you broke our agreement, right? We said this is what we're going to do, and then you keep throwing me under the bus. So now he doesn't trust her. Plus there's some things he doesn't care for about her, and he can't get away because again, they're bound by contract, and everybody's telling him you need to stay with her, you need to be with her, you need to try to work it out. But the bottom line is he didn't want to be with her. She wasn't the one for him. And I hate that they pushed that on to the both of them versus giving them tools to work through the situation and at least function in a healthy manner until filming was over. And I really say that about everyone. I really wish they had taken the time to give everyone tools to work through the process. I think that still would have been entertaining, right? I think you still would have gotten your entertainment factor, but also help people who can't get therapy, and then help the people that are there get some form of therapy or some therapeutic tools to help them in relationships. But I am happy that Johnny is in therapy. I hope Bao goes to therapy, and I wish her well. I know she's going through a lot right now. Like I said, I'm not going to tear Bao down, but I do agree that she was what Johnny said she was. I found it sad that she befriended Michaela in the way that she did, only to be doing what was happening allegedly behind the scenes. But to just get to the bottom line, like, just work on being the best version of yourself. Don't try to hurt people. Don't try to tear people down. Don't try to manipulate people to get what you want to the point of harming them, you know. So I just really hope for the both of them that they continue to grow and learn and flourish, and that they get the help and the tools that they need to have a healthy relationship in the future. And I hope Bao learns from the situation that she's in right now. I'm not going to talk more about that. And I'm not going to do any more Married at First Sight information for this season, but I thought there were some lessons to learn and I want to share that. If you like the content, please like, thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel if you see fit. If you have any questions or concerns, there's a link in my description bar that will lead you to my email or message. You can leave me a message. And that's basically it. I hope you like this content. I want you to have a beautiful evening, and please don't forget to love you for who you are. Have a great night. Bye-bye.